Nidhogg 2 is a simple concept, completely different from the original 2014 game, and yet ultimately the same as well. There's not much to say about it if you played the first. What I mean to say is, if you love the original, you're going to absolutely enjoy this. But if you weren't a fan of the first, then chances are the minor tweaks presented in the sequel aren't going to compel you to try again. Now, I usually don't start these things off on graphics, but I felt it was necessary for this game as it's the first real big change players are going to notice. The original's minimalistic, Atari-like design worked well for the simple gameplay. Now we're working with pixels reminiscent of the Super Nintendo if it was injected with a few boosts of power. It's gorgeous is what I'm really trying to say. You can choose from a variety of colors and even now customize your avatar's gear. There's not a lot there, but enough to make your character feel unique before they get stabbed and explode in a brilliant flash of colorful blood. It's like Splatoon, only you're painting the environment with brightly colored entrails. Actually, they kind of look and animate like Muppets too, which makes that whole analogy even stranger. Right, anyway, speaking of the levels, they're detailed, brilliantly designed, and just plain fun to stare at. The music is equally impressive, nothing I'm going to listen to outside of the game, but good nonetheless. Now let's move on to the bloody meat of this game, the mechanics. As I hinted at earlier, not a lot has changed. It's still a weapon-based fighting tug-of-war game, where your goal is to get a giant worm, the Nidhogg, to eat your body in some cosmic honoring sacrifice. The fencing gear returns, as does the martial arts if you drop your weapon. But there's 3 new pieces as well. The broadsword will cut you down quick and has the ability to knock other weapons from the opponent's hand. The dagger is a good throwing object, but the short blade makes it bad for close encounters. Then there's the bow, which has a slow draw, but it does have a good range. I feel like every weapon is perfectly balanced, but it really doesn't matter what you use. No matter what, chaos will ensue, and that's the real treasure of Nidhogg. You can hone your skills against the AI in a campaign around the island, or you can tackle a friend locally, and or take your rampage online. I only had the game a few days and couldn't connect with anybody. That's not to say the game is broken, I just want to be clear that this review wasn't able to test the functionality of the online multiplayer, which is fine by me because I didn't really like the online option in the original. Screaming or jabbing a buddy next to you is infinitely more enjoyable than trash talking over a garbled mic. But hey, at least the options are available. There were points during this review where my partners and I were at a deadlock. We couldn't make any headway. It was exhausting, but still fun. Hours and hours later, my smile never faded, even during tense situations like these. That's the true mark of a gem right there, and yet I know there are blemishes. Even with a graphical overhaul and the new weapons at its core, Nidhogg 2 is exactly the same as the original. Different modes, or perhaps some kind of bizarre story, could have freshened the package up. Plus, the more hours I put in, the duller the laughter will become eventually. But that said, Nidhogg 2 isn't meant to be played endless hours of the day, it's just not designed that way, and that's okay. Sorry for the rhyme there, I guess those Muppets really are rubbing off on me. Anyway, I want to think of it like a lifelong console companion. It'll never leave my PS4, and every time I have a friend over, be it a gamer or not, I'm going to pop this thing on. It's amazingly stupid, and I love it to death. Did you know that was a ReActionExaminer video? If you liked it, you should subscribe to me to keep up with everything that I'm doing. Also, if you have some other interests, like sex for example, check out Tomups, which is a comedy sex podcast thing wherein my best friend and I check out the weird and abnormal and the erotic. And of course, you should support me on Patreon because, hey, I want to make the channel better, and I want your help to do so. Plus, if you want to check out my writing, check out Game Jerk, where I have archives and new stuff for all projects, okay? You can find all the stuff and more in the description with the links below. Thanks for watching, and I will see you all next time.